Hello, everyone. I hope everyone had a very good Friday. And here we are in our English Monday session. So, just before we proceed, we'll just do a quick recap of the last session. So, last session, we discussed on the lines of traffic lights, red light, yellow light, green light, and we saw uh, they all represents our perspective in our practice. So the more we are in our home, the more power we have to put full stop to the things, the actions going on in the motion world. Further, we discussed Murli from 4th October 1975. The father, for the sake of godly service, for the service of taking the children back with him, and for the sake of giving true devotees the fruit of their devotion over a longer period of time, while detached and incorporeal, takes supports and incarnates for a temporary period. Uh, and Baba also told us, in the same way, to be an angel means to be loving and detached. And he asked us, do you consider yourself to be a soul who has incarnated in the same way as the Father? That is, you've received that practical Brahman life for the sake of doing godly service. So, with this, we'll welcome Sister for today's session. Thank you.
Hello. Let's create a couple of minutes in the higher perspective, in the Ravan-free zone. There is only one gate through which Ravan enters. And here, when we say Ravan, we mean all these habits of the obvious ones. We are aware of the obvious ones: anger, lust, greed, but also the habits of Ravan that are masked as maybe being spiritual, but manipulation, denial, gossiping, jealousy. All these are feelings of Ravan. These are habits that show that Ravan is very much using the mind. Competition, ungratefulness, thankless attitude. It can be towards anything, to situation, life. But all of this shows that Ravan is very much using the mind. And this is the big problem that Baba refers very often, that it has been 80 years since God has been giving this study, but these heads of Ravan, they still exist in the majority. So this is what Baba says. He checks his students and he gives this result. But to reverse this in 1 second, all we need is divine intellect. Intellect that knows and understands and sees the entire physical world as a story. Story is inherently interesting, but story becomes real only when there is identification with anything in the story. If there is identification, then it becomes real. And whenever story becomes real, then Ravan takes over. If story is a story, then Ravan has no entrance, possibility of entering or using the mind. But if story becomes real, home is real. For everyone, home is the most important thing. People in the drama, they spend their entire life trying to build a home. For the souls, for the invisible stars, home is the most important thing. And it is the environment of the home that makes the eternal being to wake up. Anyone who is unconscious needs an environment to become conscious. If there is a medical condition, someone has fainted, they need the right sort of environment to gain consciousness. If the temperature is not right, they cannot gain consciousness. So everyone around them creates the right temperature, right atmosphere, offers the right things, water or whatever is needed. And that is how they can regain consciousness. And so same way for the angel to wake up in everyone, for the angel, the mind that is an angelic mind, for the merciful, noble, divine personality to regain consciousness, the only requirement is the right atmosphere. The right atmosphere is an atmosphere where there is immortality and it is eternal. If there is any sort of harm that is felt, if there is a feeling or understanding that I can die, then the angel cannot wake up. If there is the feeling somehow I can be harmed, then there is the fight and flight response. It is working all the time. One wants to be secured and they start making the effort in the wrong direction. But for the angel, the one who is beyond harm, he has to wake up and we need the home. Home which is beyond the story, beyond the drama, beyond harm. Home is the land of immortality, eternity. It is beyond time. It is beyond day and night, the body and roles. It is constant. Everything is constant. Everyone is safe here. No one needs to watch out for any danger because there is no danger here. There is no danger, there is no harm. This is the land of safety, security. And the angel wakes up. And the tiny dot point starts to come to life. And the point experiences freedom, joy. He knows that whether it is at home or in the story, he is always beyond harm. He is always beyond any sort of attack, danger. He is always safe, whether he is in the story or in the world of God. No one can harm the angel. It is only when situations and people are seen through the lens of identities that feelings of hurt and sorrow, loss, lack, it comes from there, from the lens of identity. Angel realizes that he doesn't need the lens of identities. And that is a limited lens. It gives a false view on everything. It is an inaccurate viewpoint. Shanti. Thank you. So it is nice to have this opportunity to connect. And this is also an opportunity to check. Check the efforts that are made in the right direction and how to make the jump more natural, easier, how to make the jump in 1 second using the use of divine intellect in 1 second easier and natural, normal. So anyone would like to share what has been working for them?
I just like to share about yesterday's experience. Uh, this is a like feeling when we practice outside, means in the nature. It really helps to connect very fast. When we experience outside, not in the room, if we are sitting and doing the practice, in comparison to that practice, it feels very good and usually like in 1 second, more less than 1 second we connect. Is it a just a Baba we always said that go and walk in the nature. I think that's right point is connected with that practice.
What was the question?
There is no question, only I just share my feelings.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Some words were unclear, so that's why I felt, yeah.
Shanti sister.
Yeah.
Today the meditation you mentioned about opening doors to Ravan, and many times you have said that Ravan is ignorant, Ravan is illogical, and there is no logic. Last week's class you told me about be careful of Maya not interfering with your Purusharth. Maya is equally as powerful as Baba and works at the level of thought. Today in the meditation you described so many ways how Ravan can be identified. How can I identify Maya?
Yeah. Maya is any thought that is arguing or fighting to feed Ravan. So any thought that is feeding the Ravan, there is an idea, it can be a suggestion, it can be a doubt, whatever comes in the mind as a thought, that somehow is actually working in favor of ego. That is Maya. So, for example, there is a head of Ravan which likes going to party, getting ready, something like that. And so Maya will say, that Baba also says this. So I'm not, this is the so I'm just following Srimat or something, But the intention is to feed that head of Ravan that is very much, um, attached to looking a certain way. It is attached to, living life in a certain way. So Maya will come through thoughts.
So it can be said that we can take points of Murli and feed the ego. We can take points out of Murli and feed the ego.
Yeah. But Maya will not just, use Murli points, but it can use anything. But it will use Murli points. Yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Om Shanti.
Anything else?
Om Shanti Adi.
Mhm.
Yeah, just one practice that has been working good for me. That during my meditation also I use these three thoughts, and whenever I have to put a break, just determined, being a child of God, and clean the chit that we say, and then put a dot. So I've been just practicing these three dots
Mm.
whenever I get my sometimes overthink or anything happens, just
Sure.
immediate put a break. So this has been working really good, and I can see a good progress of it.
Mm. That's nice. Nice too. Yeah. So our main gate of caution that we keep is to be in the observer mode. And as soon as we get out of a situation and we are observing it, but observing it not just like in a normal sense, but observing it as completely detached. Completely detached means no identification to the self, to what we understand as self, which is the role. So when there is zero identification, inside there is no feeling that I want to favor Ananya, something like that. There is no agenda as such. Then we can observe a scene just how Baba observes it. And there can be things that seem right, and there are things that we know are wrong. But that right and wrong, it will, there is a difference when I am observing the situation through the lens of, the role. Then also we know, some things are obviously right, some are wrong, some behaviors, anger or all of that is wrong, and you understand it. But there is a feeling there is also a strong desire and a feeling that I am right. So when there is I am right, then there will be denial for if anyone says you are not right, there can be a reaction. And denial to any other sort of opinion, and even though your observation is correct, in the world, many of us, we know right and wrong, that is okay. But as long as there is, we are seeing it through this lens of the role, then this feeling, is always there. I'm right, and then there are reactions, any sort of reaction, any sort of denial. If someone agrees with your opinion, then you sort of uh, you like them. But if someone disagrees with your opinion, then you want to, you don't, you sort of create a list in your mind. You don't want to, um, you sort of, what do you say, reject them. Yeah. So all of these are reactions. Same observation can happen as the detached observer. From Baba's point of view, there are also things that are right and wrong. Obviously, if there is a war, Baba will not say this is, oh, this is right, everyone is right, everyone is, correct from their position. We don't use that sort of language. Yeah. In the world, we don't say everyone is right from their perspective and all that, because there is a broader right and wrong. Yeah. And these sort of ideas and statements, they don't help anyone except Ravan, in some subtle way. Everyone is right from their perspective. So that is not what knowledge says. Everyone has a perspective, that is true, but we don't, not everyone is right from their perspective. So from Baba's view, there is a broader right and wrong, and it mainly depends on what is true and what is false. So you can say, you can think in a situation, this role was right, this act was not correct, not right, it was wrong. But it comes from it comes from giving value to what is true and what is not true, what is false. And also with that sort of observation, there are no reactions. If someone understands something else, there is no reaction. There is no need to convince. These factors will not exist. When you are completely a detached observer, you can still see and understand the picture, right, wrong, what should have been done, all of that is there. But if someone agrees with you, that is fine, their benefit, it is good for them. But if someone doesn't agree, there is no desire to convince, yeah, because it is coming from the higher, understanding. And so there is this also this understanding that everyone is at different levels. Yeah? So there is no desire to convince, there is no uh, desire to prove. Siddh, prove. So no need to prove. Even if someone else says, anger is right, or holding on to this is right, and we need identities, that sort of thing. You don't get into uh, any sort of engagement to prove your point, because it is not your point. Yeah, that is the difference between observing through an intelligent mind, just being intelligent, and observing while sitting at Baba's perspective, through the higher perspective. So that perspective is not only intelligent, but it is a combination of all that is part of God's personality. There is intelligence, but there is also understanding of time. There is also uh, nishchay on time, nishchay in the family of souls, nishchay in truth. So because of all of those things, there is no need to prove, there is no need to convince, and there is no need to deny anything. You can be an observer and look at the activities that this role performed, which can be the role that you are associated with. And you can even see actions that were not right. So you will not have the desire to deny them, and you will also not have the desire to promote them. Yeah. So both polarities, those sort of polarities, that doesn't exist. So as a detached observer, which is seeing the world through Baba's point of view, reactions don't, you are not seeing it to get more agreement from people, to convince more people. That is not the agenda. Agenda is to be in the same point of view as Baba. And because when you're in that point of view, you may understand the details, you can understand some games going on of ego, some manipulation, some politics, all of that. But at the surface level and also at a deeper level, you are fully convinced that this is all accurate. There is no doubt. You wouldn't want it any other way. There is a deep conviction that this is accurate. So feelings are not there. Yeah? Feelings of this is right and this is wrong and why is this? There is no question. You are not seeing the drama with any analysis. Whenever there is analysis, you're analyzing something, you will need why, what, all these sort of things. You need questions. And if there are questions, Baba's point of view is not present. Yeah. So there is no analysis, deep feeling, it is accurate, no need to prove, no desire to convince, no analyzing. That is, drama is not the area of interest. It is there in front of us, but it is not something, very dear or very important. So detached observer, the seat of Baba. There is deep acceptance for all the scenes and all the roles, and love for the family. So you are connected to, you can see some roles that are, you can also see the souls that are currently under Ravan's influence, ego's influence, but your love is not disturbed. You can still see them as brothers, and just the thought of that role, you are happy to send light to the brother. They may have done, the role may have been given the task by drama to do a lot of things, to cause some upheaval, to, do some sort of destruction, all of that. But from the detached observer seat, deep acceptance for the role and undisturbed, undisputed love for the brother. You are convinced soul is your brother, soul is your friend. So you are happy with, very happy to know, no matter how the soul is influenced at right now by Ravan, but that doesn't change that they are your brothers, they are your friend. So that, acknowledgement that love is there. So we will read one passage. We will read some Baba's Murli. It may be more than a passage, but it is, we have, read this before. Or maybe before starting this, we will listen from some of you, if anyone wants to share. Anyone wants to speak? Yeah.
Yeah, Om Shanti Adi.
Yeah.
As you said that, no analysis and something I could like totally relate to it. And, whenever we do Mansa Seva during the yoga, initially, in initial years of my practices, I used to do these things कि है ना यहाँ सकाश भेजो यहाँ भेजो. But as I practiced meditation more, what now I do in Mansa Seva is like I don't give any thoughts of mine that I have to send Sakash here or there to the Tattva or to the planets, which is okay, good practice. But like I believe that being with Baba and allow that light, wherever Baba wants to send the light, he can send, no analysis. So this I think is, form of Mansa Seva, I believe, deepens our connection with the divine also and makes us very relaxed with no opinion, being observer. And I've been, practicing this for quite like 2, 3 months, and I can see whenever I interact with souls, automatically, and whenever there is a, consciousness, I get that I am a soul. Automatically, I do the same thing. Like being with Baba, sending the light, no opinion. Like before, इसका अच्छा हो जाए, इसको ये हो जाए, ये होता था, अब ये सब नहीं होता. So yeah,
Mm.
the rights of Ravan are getting cut off.
Mm.
Sister, what you just now spoke is actually the way to differentiate between Maya and Baba's thoughts, I think.
Mm.
So, if I be sincere and if I tell you that Rashmi was listening to all the Murlis, not the detached observer. So, how do we try to be in that place before Murli starts 5 a.m. before I listen to the Murli?
No, it's a constant. There is no ritual that we can do to come in that state. It is a constant check and a constant reminder as the words are spoken through Baba or through an instrument, whoever is, speaking the Murli. We have to constantly check ourselves and be in the higher consciousness. Think the question about is there any difference if we practice in a room or outside with nature? Yeah, nature will always be a good practice point, only because it is unfamiliar, where the room and other areas that we sort of use in the drama, we are very familiar with them, and because of familiarity, it helps to keep the role consciousness quite active. And so anytime, anywhere you go to a new place and you use concentration, then role consciousness is decreased. But concentration has to be used. Otherwise, you can be, ego can be very interested in exploring that new area. Clicking some pictures, running around, talking to someone, and that can also be the one of the points. But if someone is quite focused, then new area, any sort of new place, there is it supports. This Murli is from 12th October 1975. Inspirations to finish all complaints and to become complete. So, do you have the firm practice of being incorporeal and beyond the consciousness of the body, of stabilizing in soul consciousness, and of observing your own part and the part of others as a detached observer, like the Father? So, your own part and the part of others, questions will not be there. When there are questions from your own part, then there is guilt. If there are questions from parts of others, then there is quite a spectrum of emotions and feelings that emerge. It can be blame, irritation, anger, all of that. So while observing your own part and the parts of others as a detached observer, like the Father, just like Baba will observe, he observes his own part and the parts of others. There is no complaint. There is full conviction that it is happening. Whatever has happened as per the drama. It is accurate and it is, the perfect scenes. So there is complete contentment, towards whatever has happened. Do you constantly have the stage of a detached observer in your consciousness? Unless you constantly have the consciousness of a detached observer, you cannot make Bap Dada your companion. So without being in this stage of detached observer, Baba cannot be a companion. So to be underlined. Yeah. If there is any ties with the drama, then Baba cannot be a companion. When there is no ties with the drama, all cords are cut, then Baba can be your companion. The experience of the stage of a detached observer enables you to experience the companionship of the Father. You consider yourself to be God's friend, do you not? You have made Bap Dada your closest friend, haven't you? Have you made Baba the conqueror of your heart? Do you experience wanting to share the secrets of your heart with anyone other than the Father, even in your thoughts? In our thoughts, we're always chatting with someone, it can be chatting to your own self, but you're always talking to someone, somebody. Yeah. If you experience the happiness of all relationships with the one Father, and you have the experience of attainment of love of all relationships, then your intellect cannot be drawn to any other relationship. The intellect should be totally absorbed in all relationships with the Father at every breath and every thought. Many children still complain that they have many waste thoughts and that they are not able to link their intellect with the Father. That even against their conscious wish, their intellect becomes attached to something or another, or that the responsibility of their household does not allow the yoga of their intellect to become stable. The connections and atmosphere of the old world make your attitude mischievous. That is also one of the statements, that it is very tamo pradhan, the workplace or this area, it is very tamo pradhan. And so, if I am, more absorbed by the tamo pradhan atmosphere, then that means I am, attached. No? I haven't stepped back. I'm not in the seat of a detached observer. So these are all the complaints that can be present, that I'm not able to be in the company of Baba because of responsibility, because I'm thinking of, this one or that one, or the atmosphere is not right, it is very tamo pradhan. So all these things. Then you are not able to make as much effort as you would like to, or you are not able to take a high jump. Throughout the day, Bap Dada receives many such complaints. Although you call yourselves Master Almighty authorities, you are being compelled by your own sanskars and nature. When Bap Dada hears of such things, he is amused, but he also has mercy. Baba is amused, but he also has mercy. Since you are not able to erase your own sanskars or nature, how would you erase the tamapradhan, devilish sanskars of the whole world? How can a soul who is under the influence of his own sanskars liberate all souls who are under an external influence? How would you remove the distress of others when you are being upset by your own sanskars? That is why Baba said, even for your own part, you observe it, with the state of detachment. When there is the state of detachment, then there is no burden of the sanskars, and there is no burden of the past and the sanskars of Ravan. And when there is no burden of, the sanskars of Ravan and no burden of the past, then there is, lightness, and there is a lightness even towards those sanskars. You don't feel that you have lost against them, but there is a inner, feeling of victory and feeling with nischay that you will win over them. It's not a lazy sort of, it's not a carelessness, but with conviction. Yeah, you're very, very sure, and you're very, you guarantee. There is this feeling of guaranteed success. So these are all feelings, and our entire experience, wherever our mind is, the position of, our own positioning describes our experience. Our experience of whatever is happening, it is not decided by where I am, what is the situation like, but my experience is based on what is my position. And so if my position is of a detached observer, there might be old sanskars that are still very much present, but because of my position, my experience is different. Old sanskars are present, but if I'm attached to it, then my experience is completely different. And our entire quality of thoughts and our quality of life is derived from what is my experience right now. Even this second, what is my experience? I can be in a classroom, I can be listening to the Murli, or I cannot be listening to the Murli, whatever. But experience is not based on what is happening around you. Experience is based on what is your viewpoint. Right now, what is your viewpoint? What is your perspective? And experience is what is being recorded here. Experience is what gets recorded as feelings. So things around me can be very nice and very good, but I'm not able to see any of that. And I have lots of complaints inside. So what is being recorded is feeling of lack, feeling of complaint, feeling that this is not right, that is not right. So um, based on, what is your current experience, you are creating the, fortune of the entire cycle. Yeah, that is why Baba says, no matter what you see but don't see. No matter what is happening, whatever you're doing, your experience should be of highest quality. And to make the experience of highest quality, you obviously need to be in the highest positioning. Yeah. So it's a very practical question. How would you remove the distress of others when you are being upset by your own sanskars, when you feel tensed because of your own sanskars? Yeah. And the tension just shows the intensity of bondages, attachments to the role. Role can have old sanskars. Role can have any sort of sanskars. But when the soul is not attached to it, inside there is no tension, there is no friction. And inside you are liberated. You are emotionally independent. So role will not change. The roles are supposed to meant to do certain things, and overnight role will not change. And the sanskars and the personality of the role, it doesn't change just like that. But it is the soul, and soul's experience of liberation is what matters. And we are here, souls are given the task of liberating all the souls. So it starts with your own sanskars and the sanskars of Ravan, role consciousness, how liberated you are from those. That's a department, and accordingly you can liberate others. So what is the easy yukti to become free from such sanskars? Before you perform any action, sanskars first emerge in your thoughts. I will do this. It should be like this. What does this one think? Even I know how to do everything. Sanskars emerge with these types of thoughts. What is the easy yukti to become free from such sanskars? Yeah. So Baba is saying that how does these sanskars of Ravan, how do they emerge? No? Ravan's sanskars emerge with these thoughts. I will do this. No, I have to do this. It should be like this. What does, what do people think? Even I know how to do everything. So sanskars emerge with with thoughts of this type. At the time when you know that your sanskars are showing their form in your thoughts, then instill the habit or practice of first of all checking your thoughts and seeing whether they are like those of the father. So Baba will never think I have to do this, I will do this. No, Baba knows this is as per the drama. No, the part will play as per the drama. So there is no credit that I have to do this, I will do this. And what do they think? What will people think? All those sort of thoughts, they don't exist. That is why Ravan is not present. So before an important person accepts anything, he first of all has it checked. For example, the food of a president, an important person or a king would first be checked before being accepted by that person. So before something is accepted by such people, they first have it checked to see that nothing impure is mixed with it. So before coming into any action, you have to first check the food. Food for the soul is through thoughts. Food for Ravan is also through thoughts. Thoughts can be food for the soul or they can be food for Ravan. Thoughts have to be checked first. If there is any sort of I and mine and in at the level of thoughts, then we have to be sure that this is mixed. This is mixed with Ravan. And so the sanskars will also be of Ravan. The result will also be that Ravan becomes bigger by the time you finish that task. It can be a service project, it can be anything else. So, what are those important people compared to you? Those important people will not be able to set foot in your kingdom. In fact, even now, they are to fall at your feet. Since you are becoming the kings of kings and are called the most elevated souls of the world, the food for the intellect of you elevated souls is in the form of thoughts. And it should first of all be checked. When you accept something without checking it, you are deceived. Therefore, first of all, check every thought. Just as you use an instrument to measure whether something is real or whether something is mixed with it, whether it is real gold or rolled gold, in the same way, check whether your thoughts are the same as the Father's or not. Check on this basis and then speak or act. And so, very simple, we just have to check, thoughts will be either all the thoughts, we can put them into two categories. First will be thoughts that are seeing drama as a drama, story as a story, foreign land as foreign land. It is not my world. And there will be other sets of thoughts which are aligned with this is my world, this is real world, this is my life, this is happening with me. And so we just have to see, are my thoughts of knowledge or are my thoughts of understand or ignorance, understanding that drama is my world and drama is real. So we just have to check, is my thought feeding this understanding that drama is real, story is real, story is something very serious, then change it. So before speaking or before coming into action, I just need to check my thoughts. In my thoughts, is the uh, perspective very clear that the drama is a drama? Movie is a movie. Movie is not reality. Movie is fictional. So are my thoughts aligned with it? If they are not, change it. It is when you forget the foundation that sanskars of Shudras and of poison become mixed. When food has poison mixed into it, that food can make someone unconscious. So any thought that is coming from the point of view that story, drama, and its scenes are very important, a lot of value to it, they are making the angel unconscious. Baba is saying if your thoughts are mixed, then if food is mixed, then mixed with poison, it can make anyone unconscious. Same way, if thoughts are mixed with this confusion that drama is not drama, drama is something very serious, movie is not a movie, that role is not a role, but they have done it, they did this, then I, I should be sure that angel here is becoming unconscious because we are giving poison to it. In the same way, the poison of a trace of a Shudra becomes mixed into your food or diet of thoughts, and then you become unconscious to the remembrance and power of the Father. So consider yourself to be a special soul and become your own checker. If you consider yourself to be special, you will check your thoughts. Is the food mixed? Is it going to poison the angel? Or is it going to make the angel, or is it going to nourish the angel? Is it going to starve the angel, or is it going to nourish the angel? So what are my thoughts? What quality of thoughts am I creating? So a special soul will become their own checker. So do you understand? Stay in your pride of being a special soul. So it is not just about saying I'm so special, I asked a question and Baba has given me the answer. I'm so special. No, it's not about that. Special means then you will check your thoughts. Special means then you will check what is being fed to the angel. You will check, is Ravan being fed or the angel is being nourished? Yeah. Special means you will really check, are my thoughts feeding Ravan or they are nourishing the angel? It is not just about, this happened in the drama, so I'm so special. Yeah. So Baba says, stay in your pride of being a special soul and you will not be distressed. So, acha, this is a yukti to finish your sanskars. If you constantly remain busy in this task and constantly stabilize yourself in the awareness of being a holy swan, you would easily be able to distinguish between pure and impure, between Shudra and a Brahmin. And because the intellect is busy in this task, it will become free from the complaint of having waste thoughts. So, very, very clear yukti to check the diet of thoughts, to check the diet, that is being given to Ravan or it is going to the angel. And one who is considering themselves to be special, they will be, they have a strict check on their diet. Yeah? They have a strict check on their thoughts. So this is the Murli, very relevant for us. Yeah. So we will hear from you.
Shanti. It
Yeah.
was very beautiful, Murli, and the point you shared earlier that don't analyze the drama. So it was very related to that because we many a time I myself see that in some situation we just making the analysis and the reason for that analysis is that we're checking where what we have to do, what we have to do. We start making the analysis in the drama. Maybe there's a question that you're saying that many a time we say that he might be right according to his or her perspective, but you say that's wrong. So I didn't get why it's wrong because the knowledge the person has, the perception the person has according to his or her knowledge. He's right on his way. How is it wrong? I didn't understand that.
See, if every it's just we have to understand that there is a difference between, perspective and seeing the world through identities, through your own identities, and seeing any situation or anything from the lens of identities. It can never be understood as right, because identity itself means foundation is wrong. And seeing through those identities, that is completely wrong. So each one, the correct statement would be that each one has their perspective, but each one is not right from their perspective. There is a definite right, and only that perspective is the right perspective. Any other perspective that is not highest, it is not right.
Mm.
And that is why this world, it is a chaotic world. If everyone was having the right perspective, then it wouldn't be of such chaos. So there is only one right perspective. Everyone is not right from their perspective. Everyone has a perspective, that is right. Everyone has a perspective, different perspectives. But definitely, viewpoints, they are, not based in truth. They are not rooted in truth. And so we cannot say that they are right. We cannot understand it as right. And the more we sort of normalize that, it's right, whatever they think, it's right. This is the problem. No? If Baba is saying, if you say, you are feeding Ravan and you say it is right, then you should be aware that Ravan is being fed and that is not right. So same way, each one, somehow is feeding their own Ravan, and that perspective is not right.
Right. Right. The definite perspective is right, but the perspectives are different, can be, but the right perspective is fixed.
Yeah, right
If
perspective
we
is
see the
fixed.
truth.
Yeah. That is why, because there is this understanding that everyone is right from their perspective. There is also use of this language, my truth and your truth, share your
Right.
truth, my truth. And so that is not the case. There is no my
Mhm.
truth, your truth. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Mm. Yeah. So anything else that has come up?
There's a question, sister.
Mhm.
Even if somewhere internally we know that my perspective is not right, Baba's perspective is the highest. First question is, but at that time, why it seems so convincing? And the second question is, when we share this wrong perspective in a gathering, and later we realize that this was Ravan's perspective, and it will definitely hamper others' journey. And at some level, it may sabotage the true mission as well. So, one thing is we have to practice in a right way, but in the drama, how to be aware of that this thing should not happen again. It's a long one.
Yeah, yeah. No, I got the gist of the questions. I think anything that seems very convincing is only because we are attached to it, and the attachment is strong. That is why it seems, even you can know that it is wrong, but you are convinced to do it. So it is because only the attachment to that. And let's say that. Now when I am in a detached observer state, and whatever this role has done in the past, shared something or did something, it is 100% guaranteed that that was beneficial. Even if the sharing was not 100%, you know, accurate, that sharing had a benefit in the drama, and definitely because someone had to be benefited, that is why it was shared in that way. So today I will not want to do it, because I understand that there was some level of mixing, but I also understand that because it was drama is accurate and every scene is accurate, that was what was accurate at that point in time. Yeah. So someone had to get a message, or so whatever has happened, um, there is always the understanding that that scene is sort of approved by Baba. So now I don't need to create any thought, that it will hamper other people's journey. No, if it would have done that, then if it had that sort of impact, then it wouldn't be part of the drama. So in whatever way, directly, indirectly, whatever has happened in the past is like it is accurate. And accuracy means it is just approved by Baba. It has to happen that way. So we don't want to repeat it, but it's approved by Baba. It's just a personal statement. We don't need to take it as a you know as a literal thing, but it is to get free from the waste of past. So scenes are always accurate. Whatever has happened was accurate and it is perfect. So whatever is perfect, you can never change it, and you don't even need to change it. But we can keep a caution from next time. Now that I spot it, now that I see it, I can keep a check from next time. Yeah. Anything else that has come up?
There's one more question.
Yeah.
How to feel all relationships with Baba? This soul, as in the person who's writing this, is practicing it as father only.
It's not a literal, a sort of, it's not that, tangible, that how do I feel this with Baba and that relationship with Baba. All I need to check is when my thought goes in the drama and to people, then which people is my mind going to? If it's consistently going towards mother or father, so I know that the soul is, so if it's going to the role of the mother, then that means I have an identity that I am the daughter. So I have to go beyond that identity. If it's going to the role of husband, then I have the strong identity that I am wife, and that is where soul needs to create light. I'm not daughter, I'm not wife. So if I can go beyond that, all my experiences are with Baba. So to feel all relationships with Baba, first I need to check in which relationships my mind goes, to which people the mind goes. And once I am aware that these are the people that mostly my mind goes in that direction, then I can be clear of what my identity is. So my identity is not that he's my husband. My identity is that I am the wife. Soul has created only this identity. And this will block the experience. If I am the wife here, then I cannot experience that, closeness with Baba. So Baba has all relationships with me, but the soul cannot experience it because it has blocked by having this attachment that I am the wife here. Yeah. So check, and it will be easier to change. And our homework for the next till the next class is very, very simple. Just to check every thought, is it coming from the understanding that drama story is important, it is valuable? Yeah. Is my thought hyping up drama? Is it giving the value to this role? If there are thoughts that are giving value to this role, Ananya, some sort of, then I am sure this is poison. So I have to change the thought. So let me just keep a, check. Every so often before practice, every time we practice, check. Are the thoughts, favoring the role in some sense? Favoring is one thing, but strongly associated, strongly attached, to the role, giving value to the role, giving value to the drama, very serious. Some, any future situation, is it making the scene look very serious? It's because, there is value to the role. And so being in this awareness that the soul is special, and because the soul is special, let me keep a check on the diet. So very subtly and playfully, let's keep a check on the diet. Through the diet, is Ravan being, fed, or angel is given food?
Om Shanti Didi. As the practice has been of being an observer, and so have seen this change that there is no eagerness, or there is no urgency for getting into any kind of discussions, because the position where the soul is, for the soul, the drama has no value at all. So the need to go into endless discussions to correct things or talk about things has just is dropping. And whereas the other the company, or not even the company, or maybe the people you're surrounded with, they want to discuss a lot of things, and sometimes maybe the same things. And because you are practicing and you are coming into that position where all that doesn't seem important, and in fact seems that it is taking you away from Baba's mission. So the decision always comes to avoid such kind of discussions, and not even meeting, and not even uh, any sort of talking. And so it goes mostly as a very stubborn or a rude behavior to the other side. And so is that okay? Because here there is no feeling that why do they want to get into the discussion, because here the soul understands that they are not in that position right now, so of course it is important for them, which is fine. But so there is no irritation for them, but here there is just no, feels that there is no need that you have to get into it. And it's okay that if they see you as stubborn, or maybe you even become a loner. So is that okay?
We just have to check if there is any resistance from our side. It is one thing to be um, using your time and not going into discussions because it is sort of wasting time. That is fine. That understanding is fine. But sometimes, other person can speak and you're just listening, you are not contributing. So if that is what drama is presenting, then I may go ahead with it. But I just need to check my resistance. And if there is any resistance, there is identity. So every opportunity is a path to get rid of resistance, your own uh, avoidance. So it is one thing to value your time and thoughts, but avoidance means there is some resistance. So that is worth that is worth checking if there is resistance. And yeah.
So yeah, so this had been checked several times, and considering this only, yes, initially there was resistance. It was identified, and uh, uh, took it as an opportunity to let me stay in the position of the observer, and it's okay. But realized that after some time, because it's like, as you said earlier, that the personality doesn't change immediately, and those old sanskars have not really vanished. And so I've noticed that even if, like, considering that, okay, let me see as it as an opportunity, where do I stand? And after discussion, after sometime, suddenly that urge will come, and again, and you see that, oh, you're still not able to stay quiet. You, after a certain point of time, you are getting into the same mode again. So then there comes this thought that, okay, so that means you're not still so ready to, and you are your own identities which have not vanished, they have weakened for sure, but they do get water in such kind of discussions. They do get fed. So then, considering that, if you one takes a decision that, okay, not really required, so then it's fine.
Not really required. Yeah, not really required now, but I will come back to it after, in a better state. So to tell myself and even others that I will come back to it after a time, 2 months, 3 months, whatever. And that
Yeah.
time is used towards going, beyond that sort of resistance. And also there, situations trigger or discussions trigger the old sanskars because we go in the position to take something. If there is some sort of if we go in such situations as a complete giver, then whatever happens, whatever is said, it has no consequence. It has no effect. But what someone says and the discussion, it has an effect only because we are not going there in the position of a giver. We're not going with the mission in mind. We go there with some different agendas.
Yeah, so even if, like, I have seen that even if the mission is clear that you're going there to give, and you've really practiced it also beforehand, you've been practicing this and reminding yourself again and again, but after a while, after a certain point of time, and you just lose it again, and you again come in the argument mode. So does that mean that initially that thought that, okay, you're going there to give, was a mixture? It was not really you were not really convinced about it, that you were going to give there, you had some hidden agenda, or you just lost it there?
Yeah, no, the conviction is there to go as a giver, but each time, the time will increase, and it doesn't mean that you lost it there. But yeah, the deception happens when, um, I mean, it does mean that we sort of get lost in the discussion at that time. So intention to go as a giver is very clear. It is based on truth, but yeah, after a while, because our senses sort of deceive us, they take us back into um, drama, and then you listen one thing, and then, quickly Ravan takes it, and then reactions of Ravan starts. But regardless, we have to keep going in situations as a giver, keeping that position intact, and very soon Ravan will not take over.
Yeah.
It just has to be done. Repetition for anything is the key. Repeating anything is the key.
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah. Gee,
And
thank you.
any perspective, any practice, if it is repeated again and again, then it has value. Doing it once or twice, it is not, the pattern is not that strong, and Ravan takes over. So we have to keep repeating. Yeah. Yes, so thank you. Thank you very much. And we will meet soon with the homework, you know, completing the homework. So thank you.